Hi, and welcome to Cooking with Bismark. I'm Will, aka Bismark. Today, we'll be cooking cherry white chocolate scones.
You will need 1 cup of sweet white rice flour, 1 cup of millet flour, 1 cup of potato starch, 1 cup of tapioca starch, 2/3 cup sugar, 1 tablespoon xanthan gum, 1 tablespoon baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of dried cherries diced, 1/4 cup of white chocolate chunks, 3/4 cups of cold butter diced into cubes, 1.5 cups of heavy cream, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract.
So, one of the things you should know about me is that my fiance is celiac, so she can't have anything with gluten in it. So, the recipes I do are actually going to be gluten-free. A large part of them are going to be vegetarian as well. The first thing we're going to want to do is to mix everything from the white rice flour to the baking soda and salt together into one large bowl. We've got our friendly little R2-D2 here to help us. We'll get our 1 cup of white rice flour. Now, some people are a bit finicky about getting exact measurements. Well, I've never been particularly finicky about it. That's about 1 cup. Now, we're going to do 1 cup of millet flour. That's about 1 cup. 1 cup of potato starch. And now, it's time for our 1 cup of tapioca flour. One of the things you'll notice with gluten-free baking is that you end up using a lot of ingredients that essentially get you to flour. Now we want 2/3 cups of sugar. 1 and 2. Now it's time to add 1 tablespoon of xanthan gum. In our recipe, what the xanthan gum is going to be doing is it's going to provide the thickening that gluten and wheat normally would provide. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. 1/2 teaspoon baking soda. I always hate these boxes that the baking soda comes into. It's impossible to get it out, and I end up always mucking it up and getting baking soda everywhere. There we go. 1/2 teaspoon. We're going to need a teaspoon of salt. 1, 2, 1/2 teaspoons makes a full teaspoon. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of mix this all together. This, for people who don't know, is a whisk. And is probably not the proper instrument to be mixing this together with. But we're going to do it anyway. Mixed up. You can see the different colors and the striations that are occurring. Well, maybe you can't on the camera, but there's some yellows and some whites that I need to get all mixed up together, because those are the different flours that we want to make sure all end up being uniform throughout the mix. Okay, so that's all mixed up. Add the cherries and white chocolate. How much white chocolate I want? Oh, I only need 1/4 cup. You know what that means? That means I get to eat the rest later. We want 1/2 cup to chop cherries. We're going to want to chop these up. About 1/2 cup. And we're going to chop those up. We've got our cherries chopped. We're going to add them now. In they go. I add a 1/4 cup white chocolate chips. And you know what? I might add a bit more than just a 1/4 cup between us. Whoop. That one went away. And so did that. Okay, so we've added that in. Okay. Now, the next part's going to be the trickiest, because that's going to involve mixing the butter into the flour without melting the butter too much. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut up the 3/4 cups of butter. Ooh, it's already starting to melt. It is very melty. Should have left it in the fridge. Now, one of the ways we can mix in the butter with the flour is to use a stand mixer with the pastry attachment. However, I don't have one. So instead, we're going to use our fingers. We'll try our best to just use our fingertips in order to mesh the butter in with the flour. And what we're looking for are pea-sized granular pieces, essentially, in the end. Feel the butter just melting through, unfortunately. Okay, so what temperature do we need the oven at? We need it at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And for those across the pond, I can't do centigrade conversions in my head. I have to do that on paper and pencil. I apologize for that, but my mental math skills are a bit poor. Which is saying something. I'm an engineer. I should have good mental math skills, apparently. So the next thing we're going to do is add the cream and vanilla to the dry mixture. Now that we've got it into essentially pea-sized chunks. And for this recipe, we'll need 1.5 cups of heavy cream. There we go, 1 cup. We're going to add that into the mixture. We're going to put the cream back in the fridge, because there's just a bit more left. It's going to go into some ice cream later. Now, what we're going to do is add the vanilla. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So we're just going to use our little handy-dandy half teaspoon that we've been using already. And we're going to get 2 of these for a full teaspoon. 1, 2. Now what we're going to do is mix this all together and make a dough. So hopefully it's not going to be too liquidy, and I'm concerned that the butter has melted to the point where that's going to be a problem. If that's the case, we'll need to add a bit more of the flours in. Well, maybe it's not going to be too liquidy. It's a wee bit liquidy, but I think we're going to be able to work with this. So now what I'm going to do is take about a third of the mixture, a little ball of it. We're going to put it over here, kind of make a circle. It's really good. And we're going to cut this circle into some smaller, equally portioned triangles. Or at least as equally portioned as I can get them. Yeah, butter melted a bit, so now the scones should look something like this. And we're going to put them into the oven for about 30 minutes. Computer, please set the timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
Now for the glaze, we'll require 2 cups of powdered sugar, or the remainder of the bag, a 1/4 cup of milk, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Wait for a second.
And we're just gonna drizzle on the glaze. Try to get it evenly glazed. Some of them are gonna get more glazed than others. That's perfectly fine. And we're done.
And now we're cleaning dishes. Please remember to like and subscribe, and see you next time.